Welcome back. Another episode of Coach's Corner. We appreciate everybody who is subscribing and following us on YouTube, Coach Dave's CT, my YouTube channel. Today, we have another great Connecticut fighter here. And, we've talked in the past about fighters coming out of Connecticut. And this young lady is Stevie Coleman, fights out of Manchester Rocks for Paul Cichon out of Columbia, Connecticut. She's 4-1 as a pro right now with CES Boxing. We welcome you to Coach's Corner, Stevie. Thank you for taking the time, coming on down. I'm Coach Dave. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Come on. So, we've talked before about the state of Connecticut and fighters here making an impact in the state. And you're one of the premier female fighters in the state right now. And good amateur career, turned pro. What do you got going on right now? What's happening with you, Stevie? Give us a little bit of what you're doing right now, and then we'll get into a couple other things about your career.
Okay, yeah. I just came off the Combat League. That was about a few months. I fought for the Boston Butchers. We made it to the semifinals as a team.
Right.
I finished 5-2, and now I'm just waiting to get a regular fight again, get back to my career.
What was that's right. Boston Butchers again. Jimmy Birchfield is the general manager of that in Team Combat League. For people who don't know about it, great concept, right?
Yeah,
you fight
definitely.
1 round, right?
Yeah.
1 minute round, or what is it?
It's 3-minute rounds.
3-minute rounds.
Yep.
It's a team concept where you gain points and everything. How was that for your transition from regular boxing, where you're preparing for a fight? Now all of a sudden you got to go out and you fight 1 round. It's got to be a little bit different, easier?
Yeah, it was a lot different. I think in some aspects it was easier, in some aspects it was harder, because it's you don't have time to feel them out.
Right.
Nothing. You just kind of go, you feel them out for the first 30 seconds, and then you kind of just have to win that round. So
yeah. And you got to step on the gas and pick it up right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first season, you guys went to the playoffs. Great job there. Going back next year?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with my regular career,
All right, cool. So right now you have no bouts coming up. Are you guys in contract with anything to talk to anybody about fighting, or are there people you're targeting right now that you might be?
Not really. I mean, all that's really up to my team, but.
Yeah. So, you've been boxing as an amateur, won the Golden Gloves 2 years in a row. Your decision to turn pro was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's take it back a little bit else. I ask people the same question. What was the lure that led you to boxing?
I grew up on a farm. I had 6 siblings, and 4 of them also boxed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the youngest one, and I don't know. I think, I just had a lot of anxiety sometimes, so I would go and hit the bag, and
right.
I must have had a lot, because here I am.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But, it's like I talk to people coming on, it's like boxing finds us.
Yeah.
It's there in our head, but to really go the route you're going as an amateur and then a professional now as a professional, it finds us. You are training out of Manchester now, but Paul wasn't your first trainer, was he? Or was he?
No, Paul wasn't my first trainer, but my first trainer was Bob Roy. He just threw a couple amateur fights, and then I went to Paul right away, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, they do a great job up at Manchester Rocks. I mean, Mike Con Williams, other fighters up there, Hector Rosario and the team, Miguel. Well, shout out to those guys. Now, as an amateur, you're training. What was the transition like when you went to Paul? Because, for people who don't know Paul could be a little intimidating, and he has a style about him. Like I said, if people don't know him,
yeah.
But in the boxing world, his pedigree and his IQ are really high.
Right.
So you're in good hands right there with him and Hector and the team.
Absolutely.
What was it like training up there in your first? Now you're transitioning, coming out of another trainer, working on your own with your brothers and sisters, your dad. Now you're in with Paul. How was the first day? Walk me through the first day in that gym.
it's a blessing to be there with Paul Sishan, Miguel Ayala, everyone else in the gym. I feel like I learned a lot. I've come like so far as a fighter, but the first day, I remember he was kind of just like, "Hey, can I tell you something?" Like when I was hitting the bag, and I was like, "Yeah, tell me like whatever you want. I want the help." And then I kept going to the gym, so eventually he was like, just wanted to train me, and of course, like I was super happy about that.
He was feeling you out to see if you were all in.
yeah.
Like all of us. I mean, we got to see if you're in, right?
Definitely, yeah.
It's got to be a little bit of a honeymoon before we see what happens. But
Right. But yeah, I mean, the first day was pretty much it. And then as like the training picked up and like I started training with Paul, working with Paul, like I was definitely working harder than I ever worked before. And I loved it. And it's been like that ever since,
Yeah. I mean, look, the work ethic up there and everything and the technique and who he's worked with definitely will help any fighter up there at all. Back to your amateurs, did you have the vision of going pro when you were an amateur, or were you just kind of like riding it and saying, let me see how I could do with this, or was it in the back of your head to become a pro?
I mean, it was in the back of my head for sure. Like, I wanted to do that, and Paul always told me like that my style was more pro and it's like more, of a hurt business.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally like that better than just the points and stuff like that of the amateurs. So yeah, it was definitely in my head, but I feel like, Paul saw that in me, and then he asked me, he was like, "You want to go pro?" And obviously, it was a yes. So
yeah. So watching you grow from an amateur to where you are now in women's boxing, there are a lot of opportunities out there, especially in your weight class. There's a lot of good fighters out there.
Absolutely.
I think the women's game today, when you turn pro, is a faster track than some of the guys.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Because, we saw the last girl who fought Serrano, Stevie Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so I happened to be on a couple of cards with that young lady. Great young lady, really did not fight many top fighters.
Yeah.
But she was fast-tracked into a title fight.
Right,
That opportunity comes. I don't think we see that so much with the guys today.
Right.
You're going to be in the 140 division. Do you see yourself going up, or you see yourself holding there?
I mean, I feel like with women, I could see myself, if it's like really something, I could see myself 35, and then I can see myself going all the way up to 147.
Right.
But I think like my bread and butter is going to be 140. I haven't actually fought at 140 yet. I fought at 47 and 35.
Right. But how's the cut to 35 these days, you think?
I mean, when I'm focused, if I had a good camp, like it's fine. I just got to really watch my food.
Yeah.
I'll get the weight off. It's not fun.
I mean, of course, no. For no fighter, it's fun. Yeah. But, either way, 35 or 40, if you make 35, you're a big 35.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So you carry size and power in that division, and if you can fluctuate between both, that gives you an opportunity at both weights, and then going up is going up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's up to you. But what are you looking for right now out of boxing?
Right now, I feel like because like I had a short amateur career, I'm really just looking to grow, and I'm looking to get better. I'm looking to learn. Obviously, like the goal is to get some local belts, and then obviously go and expand. And I want to go as far as I can.
Yeah, I mean, fighting locally, you fought locally right now, so most of your fights have been through the casinos or local bouts on the CES cards. Walk us through your first fight.
My first fight was in Tennessee. I fought on the Heather Hardy undercard.
Yes, I remember that fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually lost that fight. That was my pro debut.
Tough fight.
Yeah.
Tough fight. I had that fight going your way. I thought it was scored very tough on that fight.
Yeah.
But walk us through the preparation and the anxiety of that fight, because, people don't realize what fighters go through. Now you're working a full-time job still, right? Doing your own personal life and training. So now you're preparing, and you're on a pretty big undercard.
Yeah.
TV fight.
Yeah.
What's it like to prepare for it? Now you're coming from an amateur situation, and here you go. You're thrown deep in the ocean here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, the opportunity was there, and I really just wanted to take the opportunity. I felt like I had to, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when I was little and I was looking at female boxers, like Heather Hardy was one of them, and for the opportunity to fight on her undercard, like that was like a dream come true. It was also on UFC Fight Pass, I think. So that was like another good opportunity. We got an opponent sent to us. We said yes. And the training was hard, but I feel like, you know, when you're so focused on the end goal, it's really just, you're just in it. You know, it's like I wasn't really stressed or I didn't have really anxiety until like maybe I was getting my hands wrapped.
Yeah. Then it was surreal.
Yeah. Then I was like, damn, I'm going for
it. What did you find the difference from the amateurs to that fight? What did you see in different wise? Was there a big difference to you?
Not like crazy, because it was like I turned pro off of COVID, so I didn't have like, it's not like I just fought amateur like recently, but obviously the big difference was the 8-ounce gloves. You know, I felt them a little bit more.
I mean, for you, you're a puncher.
Yeah.
So I mean, to have those 8-ounce gloves wrapped up tight in your hands had to feel good when you were letting your hands go.
Yeah, it definitely did. You know? I remember like I was marking her face up and stuff early.
Yeah,
so that definitely felt good too.
Yeah, I remember watching that fight. Tough call on your part, but you learned from that. You bounced back.
Yeah, I learned a lot from that fight.
You know, when you're on a streak right now, with you know, and that's boxing. I mean, nobody likes to lose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, especially in their debut.
Yeah.
But you know what? You get it out of the way, and now you're on a roll. You already tasted that, and you say, okay, I went back. So after that, you go back to the gym. What was it like? What was the review after that fight? Like when you went back into the gym, you're with your team. What are they, what are they pointing out to you that say, hey, Stevie, you did this well. We need to do this better, or blah, 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 blah. What was it?
The main thing, to be honest, was like, I feel like I needed more in my toolbox. Like some of the stuff I wasn't really sure how to handle. Like when she pressured me, put her weight on me and stuff, it was just like new stuff, like tricks that you can do in the pros that you can't do in the amateurs. Right. So we kind of just went over that, and I mean, we did kind of think the call was close, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, we just kind of went back to the drawing board, went right back to work, and then I had a fight like a few months later, and then I won that fight, and then.
Yeah. Walk everybody through your style. People haven't seen you fight. Tell us your style.
I feel like my style, like I feel like I'm, starting to kind of get comfortable with my style and sit in my style now. I feel like I'm definitely a puncher. I like to walk you down and hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you did it as an amateur. You're growing. Your training has changed. Your conditioning is obviously, looking at you, you're in great condition, stronger.
Yeah.
So that style definitely is going to fit you there. What do you see out there that you would like to target for yourself and say, hey, I know you worked with Katie Taylor a couple times up there. What was that like? Now that's a high level for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a high level, not just for you, but for any fighter, right?
Right.
So how did you feel working with her, and how would you compare? Say, look, I work with Katie Taylor, held my own. How would you assess yourself with other fighters like that?
Well, working with Katie is every time like it's amazing. It's an honor.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in there with the best. I am.
Yeah.
And I feel like I try to learn something from her every time. She's so fast, and it's good to have that level. It pushes me to be better every time, every round. Like I feel like I have to be the best me.
No, definitely pushes you to the level. Do you see yourself on that level as a fighter?
I do, yeah. I feel like I'm young, like I'm not really in a rush, but I am at the same time, like I'm in a rush to get better every day, and I'm in a rush to learn every day, but I do see myself at that level. Yeah.
So, right now, a lot of fighters, and you're one of those fighters, how are you balancing everything with your personal life and working and everything? and boxing. You know, people don't realize what a lot of fighters go through.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You have 5 professional fights right now. It's a good amount of fights. It takes work for those 5 fights.
Yeah.
It's not, you're going into camp at least 8 weeks, maybe longer, depending on who you're fighting and when you start and your weight cut. And there's a lot of stuff that goes with it. How do you balance that out?
Honestly, it's kind of like I don't feel the need to balance it, I guess, because it's like I feel like I'm my most focused self when I'm in camp. You know, like I feel
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, like I love it, even though it's hard. Like I do love it. You know.
Yeah.
You just have to be focused. At the end of the day, you just gotta just be all in, and that's it. Like this is what you do.
Yeah.
And take the time for yourself when you have the time for yourself to rest. You know.
Yeah. Look, boxing was your choice. What else? Was there something else if you're not boxing? What would it be? You're a competitive individual.
I used to show animals.
Okay.
At fairs, like I used to show cows and sheep, and I actually had to give that up for this.
Right.
So if I wasn't boxing, I would be, at fairs, at rodeos.
So your family has a farm.
Yeah.
A full-blown farm.
Yeah.
How big?
We got like 8 acres, but it's not too crazy. Like once me and my sister kind of gave up on the showing, now they just have like.
Your poor dad's out there.
Yeah, I mean he just has like cows, a couple goats, sheep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, right now you're training in the gym every day pretty much, or what is your is it sparring with anybody or just
Yeah, I mean who's ever in the gym, like we'll spar, we'll get some work sometimes, but I'm in the gym every day. I still train twice a day even if I'm not in camp. It's just maybe not as intense,
Right. So we'll go back to Katie Taylor a little bit in Serrano and women's fighting. And what are your thoughts on the evolution here of women's fighting? Now, I don't know if you saw the Clarissa Shields fight a couple of weeks ago on TV. What are your thoughts here? Because women are putting a lot of people in the seats for women boxing right now.
Yeah.
I think, it's great for the sport, and there's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think so, too. I think even just from, just watching boxing as a kid to now, the competition, there's so many more female boxing. I know even, I hear in the Olympics and stuff, the amount of men and the amount of women is starting to equal out. And it used to, obviously, men were just...
Yeah, it was more men.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to balance out. But I think, mainstream television, pay-per-view is, the first Katie Taylor Serrano fight was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're putting,
amazing.
And then, when she fought in Ireland, putting 80,000 people in the seats, and that's something else. And, this fight coming up, again, are you working with her for this fight coming up? And I know Serrano's a southpaw.
Yeah, no, they just mentioned that they were just going to spar southpaws.
They were just going to spar southpaws for this fight. Now, some of the guys in the gym there, I know you work with them. What's the response?
I don't know. I mean, I just kind of take it just regular. I mean, obviously they hit harder, but it's just like sparring a female.
Do they try to put it on you when you put it on them?
Yeah, I would say so.
They try to bring it back at you and just say, "Look, I don't want to be showed up in here in front of anybody else." But I mean, I know
definitely had that experience.
I know the sparring's got to be hard.
Yeah.
For women fighters, we all struggle with that, and we try to get through that, and find a way to push through, and make our camps work. When do you think you're going to be fighting again?
By the end of the year, I'm going to be fighting again. Maybe fall or winter.
Yeah. Locally, Jimmy's Cards?
Yeah, definitely. Jimmy Birchfield, CES.
Okay. So right now, do you see yourself as a role model for women out there and young girls as a fighter?
Yeah, I would say that, as a little kid, I would look up to myself.
I mean, a lot of people got to come up and talk to you and say, I've been at your fights and, you're a popular individual. Would you want to train fighters?
Yeah, one day. I mean, I do have my own personal training business right now.
Okay.
So I kind of just train for a workout, but I see myself training people once I'm done fighting,
Yeah. So now are you doing all your conditioning on your own, or are you having someone help you?
I'm having someone help me. I have like a strength and conditioning coach, but I do a lot of it on my own.
You do a lot. What's your workouts like?
I mean, earlier, like when I don't really have anything coming up, I'll do like weight training, squats, deadlifts, but I'll kind of superset it with something that's a little more explosive. And then as it gets closer to the fight, I'll start doing more like cardio, quicker stuff like that.
You a runner?
I hate running, but I do it.
So I'm going to touch on something which I think, and you could stop me. I know you had a situation when you were running.
When?
Didn't you have a situation when you were training one time and you were running?
Oh, yeah.
And I said it like that because I didn't know if you want to go into it. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, sure.
Because I want to hear, I heard it secondhand.
Yeah, right.
So I'll let you go through the whole thing. So you were training for a fight at this time.
Yeah, it was like a week before my fight.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to fight April 2nd, I believe, in Hartford. And I was running down the road. Obviously, like I live on a farm, so I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I had my headphones in, which I don't do anymore on the road. But I was running. It was like broad daylight too. And I feel something on my back, and it bit me. So I kind of just fell into a ball, to be honest. And
wow.
It was really scary. And it kind of just bit up my hand, bit up my ear, because I was like this. Well,
that's good. Paul taught you good defense. Put your hands up. You felt something.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it just kind of got up, and I thought it was a dog, but I remember I went to the hospital and stuff. I had to get treated for rabies, which was really like.
But it wasn't a dog; it was a coyote.
Yeah, it was a coyote.
So for what everybody knows, in the middle of the day, and it's like, holy shit! I mean, that one.
Yeah, that was really scary. Yeah.
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 I mean, I just can't even imagine that. So now you don't fight that. Did you treatment for a while, or was it just?
It was like, can I remember? I think it was like a 3-week treatment for the rabies, because they can't really test you for rabies, right. So they just treated me anyways.
Do you still run on that road?
And now I do, yes.
Did you go back looking for the coyote?
Yeah, we did. My dad did. A couple of my brothers, DEP officers were looking, but
yeah,
I'm like, they're just gonna find some random coyote. They're not gonna know which one.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's got to be one of the craziest road work stories I ever heard out there, and unfortunately, you're okay and you're able to train. But if you weren't training in Connecticut, where would you want to train? Climate-wise.
Climate-wise?
Yeah.
Well, probably like Colorado for the elevation.
Right.
But
you been out there?
Yeah, I went out there. Amelia Moore, I met her through the Boston Butchers, and she took me to Terrence Crawford's camp, and we went out there for like 2 weeks and trained together.
How was that?
It was really hard, but it was awesome.
Yeah, the elevation's different out there when you start running.
Yeah. I remember like I got off the plane, and the next day we went and did track work. It was definitely the hardest I've ever worked.
Yeah. Did you feel it the first day or two, like elevation sickness?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been out there a couple of times in the mountains. It's a different training. But once you get acclimated to it, you feel great.
Yeah.
Your lungs and everything else.
Definitely.
Now, you've been to Colombia, too.
Mm-hmm.
What part were you in?
Bogota.
Oh, you went to Bogota? Who were you in camp with?
Ivana has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you like it over there?
It was awesome. Actually, like the elevation was over there, too, so.
Yeah, not as high, though.
Yeah, not as bad, but it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. It's cool to see how people at that level train, and just kind of be next to them while they're in their training camp.
It's different. I've been there. I haven't been to Bogota, Medellin, Santa Marta, fought there. Been to gyms over there. It's a lot different. They're hungry fighters over there.
Yeah, definitely.
And they don't have as much as us. You go into the gyms over there, they're not,
right.
Equipment-wise, maybe the pros have a little bit more than the other, but some of the younger fighters, the up-and-coming fighters, dogs, how long were you there?
I was there for like 2 weeks, maybe a little bit less than that.
Yeah. Did you get to go out in the country a little bit?
Yeah. Actually, someone from the gym was taking me around everywhere, so I got to
What were your thoughts?
It was so pretty. It was beautiful, yeah. I would definitely go back just to go back. We went to the monastery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, great country. I mean,
good food,
great
too.
train. Oh, yeah. Pure food. Mm-hmm. Like, probably the best chicken and eggs I've had anywhere.
Yeah, really?
As far as, pure, not filled with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Inexpensive. People are very accommodating over there. Great area for boxing. I mean, as far as like, I'd love to go back for a 10-day, 12-day camp over there, come back over here, and get set.
Yeah.
I think, do you find a distraction training at home?
No, not really. I mean, I feel like it's, now that you mentioned that, it's kind of easier to focus when you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you just, I don't know, like I said, you just got to lock in, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, when you're away, you get up, you eat, you run, you do whatever you got to do. You go back to your room or whatever it is you're doing. You have no responsibility but just fighting that day. Yeah, here it's like, it's, your personal life, and, your family life and everything else with that. So I got to ask you one other question here. I'll put you on the spot. You were involved with a fighter. How does that work when two fighters are involved in a relationship? Because I'm curious on that.
Well, it was actually pretty good. I feel like, we helped each other through camps and stuff like that. Although a lot of the fights we fought on the same card or we were fighting around the same time. So, I mean, honestly, we helped keep each other focused. If anything, it was good.
Was there a competition?
Honestly, no. I feel like I looked up to him as a fighter, at the time, and I still do. But no, there wasn't no competition. I feel like we just kind of helped each other, level up, and I always put him through strength and conditioning stuff, and
you guys spar together?
No, we didn't. We did when we first met, we sparred, but no, not so.
After that?
No, we didn't spar.
By choice?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I mean, look, watching you evolve into the fighter you are today, and I'm going to go back to the Connecticut aspect of this because, we get overlooked. And, being from New York originally, the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Philly, people say Connecticut, but there are a lot of great fighters in the state. There are a lot of good gyms here. There are a lot of great coaches here. I mean, you really have to be around it here to know. I mean, we've had so many different world champions in this state. How do you find when you go other places the competition compared to what you're seeing now?
Honestly, I feel like there's definitely a lot more female fighters in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that really is, but I think as far as males, there's a lot of talent here. A lot of talent, but
yeah. So some of the females, other than Katie, who would you put out there that you've worked with that, you were impressed with or helped you?
Obviously Katie Taylor. I mean, she's amazing. Not just boxing, she's an amazing person.
She came down, sparred with a couple of amateur girls. Very nice personality, very humble.
Yeah, I look up to
woman.
her a lot.
Yeah, very talented.
Yeah.
Very talented woman.
But yeah, I met Amelia Moore through the Butchers. She's a great fighter. Really, definitely keep your eye on her.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, will you bring her into your camp?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she definitely she helped me become better too. Every time we spar, same situation. I would learn something every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know Michaela Moore was working with Cordell Booker a little bit. Did you have an opportunity to work with her?
No.
Thoughts on her?
She's a great fighter, I think she's tall, she's lanky. I saw she moved up to 47. But
yeah, she got a little bigger.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, when I was younger, I used to look up to certain fighters, watch them. She was one of them as well,
Yeah. So going back, to when you were younger, what is an aspiration to go to the Olympics or the trials, or was it just, I'm ready to move on here?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Obviously, you look as a kid, you're looking at every situation, but I feel in the back of my mind, it was always the goal was to go pro,
Yeah. I mean, you didn't have many amateur fights though, right?
No, I only had 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. I mean, look, I'm not a big believer in, 100 amateur fights, 80 amateur fights. You get quality fights, 10, 20, if they're quality fights against quality opponents, and your team looks at your progress, they're going to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a bad fighter and you got 100 amateur fights, you're still a bad fighter. Doesn't matter.
That's a good
you're
point,
not you're not progressing.
Yeah, right.
There's no value in that. But what do you think now, long term for you as a pro? Staying balanced and keeping the path. Who would you be targeting? Opportunity. Who's your dream fight right now? If a contract came across the table, who is it?
I really don't know, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Like, I would take any opportunity that was presented to me if I'm ready for it,
Yeah.
So I don't really target a person necessarily, because I know like there's a lot of females coming up, and I got a lot to learn. But at the same time, like when I'm ready for the opportunity, we're definitely gonna take it.
You're in there already with a lot of working with a lot of top female fighters.
Yeah.
Your opportunity is gonna come a little quicker. I think personally, just from seeing the game on the outside. There's got to be a name. Throw me a name. I'm putting you on the spot there, Stevie.
I know.
I'm putting you.
I mean, I fought somebody in the combat league, Shamar Woods.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be a really good fight. She just won a world title, I believe, in Colombia. She fights at 35, so that's definitely something that I would like to do.
Put that first belt under your hip.
Yeah.
And then kind of build it from there.
Yeah. She's tough. It was fun when we fought.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
How'd you fare with her?
Huh?
How'd you fare with her?
I mean, I feel like, it was good. She's definitely like a boxer, but I think like in a 6-round, 8-round, 10-round fight, like I would walk her down.
Right. Now, have you fought 6 yet?
My first fight was 6. Yeah, my pro debut.
Yeah, that's right. So now what? You looking for 8, or are you looking to go bounce back because you've been a little?
Yeah, I fought 6 for my pro debut, and then I fought 4. So now I'm looking for 6.
You're looking for a 6th round. Tough one on the 6th round on your pro debut.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going from 3-round amateur fights, and how did you feel deep in that fight on the 6th?
I was definitely like, it was just new, like it was a new tired, but I think it was more like a mental tired,
Not knowing what was there, or not knowing how to pace yourself for the 6 rounds.
Yeah, but I really didn't get like tired. Like my conditioning was good, but yeah, it was definitely different.
The ebb and flow of the fight kind of wears on you.
Huh?
The ebb and flow of the fight.
Yeah.
Where, it's a little different. The woman's a little more physical.
Yeah.
You're trying to find what you're trying to find.
Right.
You're not fatigued, but mentally you're trying to find
it's just different,
what's going on, and it's wearing on you a little bit like.
It's after going 3 rounds, you're like, damn, my amateur fight would have been over. I got 3 more rounds.
Yeah. There you got to go. But do you think that plays into your advantage as a puncher?
What, the longer rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to start fighting more rounds. I think it's going to work in my favor because I don't feel that I fade, and I feel like, I do punch hard, so throughout the rounds, it's definitely going to wear on my opponent.
So you're looking to take your opponent a little deep, unless it's there early.
Yeah.
The way you're patient now. Mm-hmm. Paul has you patient in the first couple of rounds, and then kind of letting you loose a little bit from there to see what you find from there. I'm gonna put him on the spot right now. I want to hear a funny story about Paul.
Oh God,
I want to hear a funny gym story about Paul, because you know what, people, and I know he's listening, right? So people who know him, right?
Yeah.
They know he's so serious.
Yeah. Oh, I have a perfect one.
Mm-hmm. So
So, I got attacked by a coyote when I was running, right, on the road. And I took, like, some time off from the gym because I had to get, like, treatments and stuff like that. So I called him one day, or he called me, whatever, and I told him, I was like, I'm a little shooken up from it, like, my rooster kind of jumped at me and I freaked out. So he didn't do it. He ended up feeling bad. But when I walked into the gym after, like, I got attacked and stuff, he put a coyote head in my locker. So that's just an example. Like, it's every day is something with him.
No, you guys got a good crew up there. I know.
Yeah, definitely.
Who plays the straight man, Hector or Miguel?
What, define straight man?
Well, the guy who's not the jokester so much, the setup guy. Is it Hector or Miguel? I think Miguel's pretty quiet, so I don't know. I know Hector. Like... Hector is a little. He can mess with you a little bit too.
Yeah. I feel like they're all like the straight man when they need to be, and they're all like the jokester.
They're all in cahoots up
most
there
most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes for a good camp.
It's a good balance, I feel like we have fun, but we work hard.
You gotta. I mean, look.
Yeah.
You have a good team, right? Having a good team in boxing is very important. A lot of people, even though it's an individual sport, you're out there doing it, okay? Mm-hmm. And, a lot of trainers, some of the old-time trainers, they're set in their ways of what they do. I mean, I think you have to have 2 or 3 eyes on you and personalities that blend with your fighter.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Because, a lot of stuff is going on, especially during training and fights where, one set of eyes can miss it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I like to have the team concept of, okay, like a football team, what are we doing? Different coach here, different coach there, but we're all working for the same thing. You're the fighter. We're not changing your style. We're not changing. We're all preparing you the same way. We're just adding our little touches on it. And, Paul has his style. Hector, I haven't worked with Miguel, but I've seen Hector. They all have different styles that kind of blend, with you. Mm-hmm. If you're the coach, what's your style with a fighter?
Probably to, Paul Vitt was very, he put an emphasis on, making your punches count.
Right.
It wasn't just, make your points and get out. It was hurt them, find that spot and make it hurt. So I feel like that's kind of, if I was a coach, that's how I would teach, too, is to be, in their face, move your head, and break them down,
Yeah, well, there's one thing about pressure. Not only in boxing and every other sports, pressure changes people. Mm-hmm. And the one thing is, this is the hurt business. You got to let somebody know you can punch.
Yeah.
It's like going into a tiger's cage. If the tiger don't have claws and fangs, you're okay.
Yeah, right.
You got to show your claws and fangs as a fighter.
Yeah.
And say, I could punch a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know what? You better be careful because if you make a mistake, I'm going to sleep you.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that theory a lot off of there. But what do you think after boxing you would look to do?
After boxing, I kind of always figured I would open my own gym. I don't know if it's necessarily a boxing gym or a weight gym, but I would love to help kids in general, but especially younger girls coming up that maybe need a little something to help their confidence. I would love to give back because boxing helped me in that aspect so much.
So, as a female, a lot of stereotypes out there. People don't understand. Did you hear the chirps growing up as a female? Why are you boxing?
Yeah,
why? From maybe your friends, family. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hear it in the gym. And
I still people tell me I'm crazy. It's no, I'm not.
You know what? I have 2 daughters. Okay, so they never fought. Okay, they were athletes in different aspects, but I think a woman or female should understand how to defend themselves, whether they box or not.
Yeah.
And if you want to box,
yeah.
Today, look, women athletes out there, WNBA, not just boxers, and we can go down the line. They're athletic as heck out there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some, better than the men.
Yeah.
They're a force to be reckoned with. But the stereotype, how did you deal with that? Did it discourage you or did it make you mad? Because I know some female fighters, they get, listen, who cares what people say?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing something, in my eyes, whether you're a female or male, you're in that boxing ring. That is something that a lot of people can't do.
Right.
Okay, to be an amateur, whether you fight one amateur fight, multiples, or become a pro, that is not something that everybody says, oh, I could, no, get in the ring and do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, did it motivate you?
Honestly, I feel like I just kind of ignored it. Like, it never really...
It was not an issue.
Yeah, it never really bothered me. I mean, I've heard it a lot. Like, you're the famous... I'm sure every female boxer's heard this. You're too pretty to box. Like, and it's like, why do you box? Why do you want to get punched in the face? Like, it's just like people can't wrap their heads around it. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's a sport. And I just always kind of ignored that part.
Competitive. I'm competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say, why do you box? I say, I can't sing or dance.
I can't cook.
You can't, you know what I mean? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta give him a smart ass answer, and because why are you bothering me with this?
Right.
Your upbringing on the farm, do you think that helped you with your work ethic?
Yeah.
Because it's not easy, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because you worked.
Yeah, I mean, ever since a little kid, you get up early, you go do the chores, you go clean a bunch of shit in a stall, feed animals, then you gotta go to school, be a normal kid, come back and work again. So the work ethic was, I feel like it's definitely from growing up on a farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I met your dad, and, shout out to him. When, you said your brothers and sisters, your brothers were fighters, right?
Yeah.
When you went to him and said, what was the reaction?
No, you don't. I was like, Dad, I want to box. He's like, no, you don't. He's like, it's too hard. You're not going to like getting punched in the face. And my mom was like, you're not going to box. You're too pretty. But he kind of told me, he was like, okay, like, because I kept pushing.
You kept pushing it.
Yeah. And then he was like, all right, well, if you run every day and do push-ups and sit-ups every day, I'll take you to the gym. So I literally did that for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he finally took me to the gym. So, and then he met me up with my first coach and stuff.
When was your first amateur fight? How old were you?
I was 17, and it was in, I'm going to mess this up, Billerica?
Oh, in Massachusetts,
yeah.
Billerica.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really, how old are you now?
I'm 23.
Yeah, you're still young. Your career is only 6 years between amateur and pro.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, wow. I mean, that's an awesome story. So he tried to deter you by making you do push-ups and running for a year.
Yeah, because I was like I wasn't even like into sports like that. Like I wasn't into running.
But where did the boxing come? Because of your brothers? Or it was like one day I'm sitting up and light bulb kicks and...
I was always like, I always liked it, like the idea of boxing and stuff. And then, like I said, I had like a lot of anxiety and stuff. And then in 8th grade, I got bullied. And so I had a lot of just, extra anxiety, I guess. So I would go home and there was still bags because they had the barn or the boxing gym up upstairs in our barn. So I would go home and hit the bags. And then after that, I started to be like, Dad, I want to box. And he's like, okay, you got to do this, this, and this. I'll take you to the gym. So.
I mean, that's got to be a great environment to work out in a barn with the boxers. I mean, it's just really got to be a motivating thing. Let's get back to the second part of, you mentioned bullying. Mm-hmm. It's a big part of society today.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It is. At every level, male and female, we hear this. I mean, we have stories of young kids that come into the gym, and you look at them, and they're like, they're getting bullied. The parents tell us they're getting bullied. I can't fathom that. I just don't understand. Maybe because I don't come out of that generation. But leading back to this thing, also, was that more of a motivation for you to fight?
Yeah.
Or just to have a release or to show?
I think it kind of, I think it was a bit of a motivation, I feel like it made me mad, So that definitely.
Did anybody look at you different now? Now you're, you at 17, you're still in high school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You fight your first amateur fight. Then you win the gloves. You were still in high school when you won the gloves in Connecticut, weren't you? Or were you out?
I was.
What's the attitude with your friends? Now you're back. Now you go back. Here you go from, working the farm, being bullied, a little this, a little that, right? Whatever. Trying to find your way.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to gain a little traction in boxing.
Yeah.
What's everybody saying?
Honestly, like the friends that I had then.
Are they walking to the other side of the hall when you go walking down the hall at that time?
I don't know. I was to myself. Like in high school, I would leave a lot of the time and go work. So it was like I wasn't really too like I wasn't really paying attention. But it definitely like I feel like people were nicer to me in high school. I guess that might be why. I don't know.
I mean, look, I think what it is like, look, you're a very humble individual, and I think you downplay a lot of what you do, and I think that's with a lot of women out there. I think they just downplay the fact that, they're out there working hard. It's not an easy sport.
Yeah.
It's not an easy sport.
Yeah.
Like, it's not golf or not tennis, You're not sitting in a country club when you're done afterwards, blah, 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 blah. You got to put your work in, and it means a lot, at any level for people to say, oh, you're putting in the work.
Yeah.
And this is the result. You're starting to see the result of your hard work.
Yeah, definitely.
In a short time, you have moved pretty far.
Thank you.
And, as well, you're welcome. And that's attested to you and your team. But obviously, you have natural ability.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, look, your love of the sport doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be successful.
Yeah.
So, you obviously had some skill set coming in, and now it's starting, to come out even more and more. You're growing as a fighter. You're maturing, physically and mentally, because this sport's a thinking game.
Yeah, definitely.
You are you a tape watcher?
Do I watch boxing? Yeah.
No,
definitely.
your own stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You're able to critique yourself?
Oh my God, yeah. Probably too much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of, being able to sit down. What's the hardest part of camp for you?
The hardest part, the first thing that comes to my mind is I like to eat.
Yeah.
So that's hard, obviously, is like, losing weight. But
so when you start camp, where do you walk at? Let's I'm not going to say that. I'm sorry.
Don't
tell me the number.
Fine.
Don't
fine.
tell me the number. I know. That's a woman thing. I'm not.
No. It's fine. I don't care.
So you're going to fight at 40.
Yeah. So
we're not going 35 right now. We'll say 40.
Right.
We'll make 40 for you a little bit.
Right.
How much do you got to work to make that 40?
I got to work hard. I usually have to lose like 15 pounds. But yeah. But it's...
Is it getting harder as you get older? Because, everybody's different when they got to come to a cut.
Yeah.
Are you on point the night before, or are you cutting the night before, the day of? How is your cut?
I feel like my cut's not that bad. Like, the week of, I'll start to like calm down on like carbs and salt and stuff like that. And then I'll just cut water like the day of, like, take like a little bath or something.
Are you bringing a nutritionist in, or are you doing it all on your own? You're playing mad scientist.
My strength and conditioning coach gave me like a few diets at first, and then now it's kind of like I'm a personal trainer now, and I work with food and stuff.
Yeah, so
Now it's easy, but yeah, at first it was like, I don't know what the heck to do, but.
Yeah, well, you know what? It changes. And look, I've had fighters, and I'm not going to name names of fighters, but I had some fighters train their ass off, have tough time cutting weight. Mm-hmm. Legitimately cut. I had one fighter the night before a title fight, and I met him in the actually not the night before. I met him in the airport. We're flying together, and he's eating McDonald's. I'll tell you his name off the air. You know who he is. And we go, Coach, I'm going to be on weight. He's fighting at 54, right? We fly, go to the hotel, weigh. He's like 157, 158 almost, called 58. Go to dinner, eat steak, potatoes. Coach, I'm going to be fine. Go back to the room, right? Shake out a little bit, goes to bed. Wake up, I said, come on, we're going to go weigh, see where you are. Day of the weigh-in, he's 155 pounds. I watched him eat for okay. Went in, jump rope for a little bit, cut weight, was 153.4 a couple hours later. Knew his body. Was the easiest fight I ever worked with to make a weight cut, but drove me crazy for a little bit. So my point being is, like, you got to know you. Mm-hmm. We can give you the diet. We can tell you everything else. But as you get older and, your metabolism starts to change, your body starts to change, it may be harder, it may be less harder. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, the only time I really had like an issue was, I think I was eating too much protein. Because I was like, I remember, like the in-body scans?
Yeah.
I went on one and I was like gaining muscle. And I was like really not trying to do that. But that was like the only time I was like had an issue. But you change your macros.
Yeah. What's your cheat food?
My cheat food?
Yeah.
Anything, everything. I like steak, cinnamon buns.
The steaks are protein. I can't really call steaks. Cinnamon buns, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Why was yours?
Me? Look, I eat anything. Forget it. Anything. Italian food, pizza.
Right. No, I like to eat. Definitely.
I mean, it's... I like to eat. So when you're done, what's the meal after the fight?
I'm going straight to sweets. Like,
you're going
I want like a piece of cake.
Yeah, all that protein changing the insulin level. You want to go straight into the sweet level.
I get a Starbucks coffee, right after the fight.
What's your pre-fight routine?
Like the day of?
Yeah, you're in the dressing room. You eat. Yeah, what's your pre-fight?
I wake up, I go to, I get some breakfast or whatever, and then I usually try to take a nap. I'm still hydrating, sipping water all day. I'll stretch out a little bit, and then, eat again, and then you go to the locker room. You kind of just sit there, and I'm just kind of, just chilling, trying to listen to, calm music, trying to just
Are you approachable?
Yeah.
Fight week, are you approachable?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
But you haven't went away to camp yet.
Huh?
You haven't been away to camp. You're at home.
Yeah.
So you're not bitching at mom and dad at home during fight week, are you, when you're cutting weight?
No. I know, a lot of people do get, moody or whatever, but I never...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Even if I am, I'm not going to... It's not their fault. I signed up for this.
No. It's funny. I mean, look, you watch the transgression of a fighter, and look, I've had fight camps where I've had fighters stay with me, and it's just... they're away from their wives, they're away from their kids, and I like to, as the fight gets close, I take your phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because what are you doing? Okay, you're home. If you're in camp, there's nothing to do. What are you doing? You're on your phone. You're talking to your friends. You're talking to your wife. You're talking to your kids.
You're
watching social media constantly, right?
Yeah.
People are texting you. They know you're fighting. Hey, Stevie, I need tickets. Where are you fighting? Oh, we're going to come. You can't get me tickets? No. The whole bullshit that comes with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your mind is, what's my opponent doing? I'm looking through their social media. What are they doing? Da-da-da.
Yeah.
So I take the phone. Once that happens, the fighter goes into a different place. Now, they get a little agitated as it gets closer to camp. As the fight gets closer, right? So it gets interesting, right?
Yeah,
so now you have to know, you can see, okay, they're ready to explode. You know what I mean? So, but, yeah, I mean, I find that, so you're good that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really. I don't get moody or anything. The only thing is that I don't like being thirsty. I feel moody, but I don't feel like I reflect this to people.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, that might change down the road. I'll have to talk to Paul and everybody on that. But couple of things here. So we kind of finish up with a couple of things on Coach's Corner. I'm going to hit you with a couple of bullet questions. Okay? First question, if you were in a foxhole, you have one person to be with you, dead or alive, whoever they are. Who's that person?
What's a foxhole?
Oh, my God. So this goes by Ian Bick, who runs the pod. He asked me the same question. Foxhole is what they used to dig holes in war back in the day.
Okay.
And fight out of.
Okay.
Okay, when they were bombings and stuff.
Yeah.
That person fighting next to you, who's that person?
Oh, fighting?
Yeah. Who's that person?
Hang on. What are we doing in the foxhole, though?
That person is next to you. You're fighting.
Oh,
other people, opponents, war.
Oh. I don't know. Probably one of my brothers.
Okay. We're going to work on our foxhole history here.
I don't know. I'm really confused by that question.
All right. On to the next one. You get 3 dinner guests, dead or alive. Doesn't matter who they are.
Okay.
Who do you want to have dinner with and talk to?
Probably Mike Tyson, obviously. Probably Muhammad Ali and then Katie Taylor, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the Ali part because that's who I would. He's one of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of mine.
What are your other two?
My other two would be my mother and father again.
Yeah.
But Ali, I was not a fan of Ali growing up.
No?
No, because he was boisterous and he was ahead of the trash talking that you see out there today. Mm-hmm. He was the ultimate trash talker. And I was a Joe Frazier fan. But to watch what Ali went through and his skill set now, amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And for his size.
Yeah.
At a heavyweight, his size just. All right, so why don't you tell everybody where we can find you on social media?
My Instagram is Stevie Jane Coleman, and my Facebook, Stevie Jane Coleman. Twitter, Stevie Jane 007.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Look for Stevie. She fights for CES Promotions. Look for her on the next show. Hopefully we'll see her before the end of the year in one of the casinos up here. You know, we wish you a lot of luck in your career, and we thank you for coming on. I want to shout out my sponsor, Nirvana. Get elevated. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next Coach's Corner. I'm Coach Dave. Welcome back to Coach's Corner.
Come on.